Okay.
Uh,
So according to this, what I also saw that I like to meditate when I'm in the plane, and it really helps me because somehow when with the turbulence, or I don't know, or it's with the age, somehow like more fears are coming to me on the when I'm on the plane. I don't know why. It's just like with each thing. So rose meditation is really helping me to calm down, and somehow I even sometimes see these visions like very big hands are holding the plane, so it's like, and it's really kind of like after goes very smooth and soft. What I also had those days when I was doing the meditation, I literally was kind of falling asleep during the meditation. So I was present and not present. So I start doing it. For example, I do the chakras, etc. And after suddenly, I kind of disappear, like I don't exist. And after I exist again, and I was like, okay, wait. So where did I stop? What am I doing? And you start to reconnect with yourself again to understand where you stopped. And I continue again. And what I also saw that I had some moments when I was doing, especially it was very challenging, the analyzer and also the transmitting, it's like literally I want to cleanse them, and it's like something I was just like disappearing, like my consciousness, my mind was kind of like blackout. I don't know, and I had really to somehow to be very focused, of what I'm doing. And what sometimes I had, like during this meditation, it's like when you really put the rows and you want, you go through the analyzers and you go down, suddenly like some faces that I don't know, those faces were appearing, they were just like for the second, and after they were disappearing. So this is what was happening to me. This is the last time when I was on my way to London. I did my meditation and all this. And after I woke up, not woke up, but after I said, okay, what time am I on the meditation? And it was like almost 1 hour, that it felt like 10 minutes, like long 10 minutes, because I really didn't realize what was I was in and out somehow, during this meditation. And while I'm here, I don't do anything, like not even short one for this. I'm here like 3 days. I feel very bad about that, and I know that I have to do it. And I really just don't want to get out even from the house. I really feel I'm very grateful now that I'm just by myself completely, because this is somehow I needed also all this, because in Israel I was active, I was meditative, I had also people that I was reading for them. And somehow after I was doing things in Athens and here, or maybe I just really don't have energy anymore. And that's why somehow I'm resisting everything, and I just want to be me, myself, and I. But yes, this is what is happening.
So I have some comments to make. Thank you for sharing because this is very useful to all of us, you know. So I was taking notes, not to forget. This is my strategy now. Um, First, the thing of sometimes feeling that you are going away to somewhere. It's a very specific feeling because while you were speaking, I was there with you. And it's not exactly sleeping, because when we sleep, it's kind of difference, because when we come back again, it's not like we were like sleeping and like this. It's just like I go to someplace else. My body is there. I am kind of there, but I'm not completely there. It's a very specific uh, feeling, because let's say if someone would ring the bell, probably you would and you would go see who was at the door. So what can be, when these kind of things happen? First, it can be that you really entered the meditation and you were really tired, because you had like a lot of energies to clean. So sometimes, and this happened to me like last week, I felt the same. I was listening to a guided meditation, because this is a tip as well. When I am very tired to guide myself, I put someone to guide me because then it's easier to sustain the presence. And in a certain moment of the meditation, I was off. And then at another moment, I came back and continued, So it can happen. And when we are like this, when we kind of it's like our body somehow finding this door to have a deep rest. So the sensation of time is really, it's like you said, like we kind of lose the sensation of time. And it can happen as well because we are resisting. It can be, we can resist, and we can like go to, okay, I'm going to be off here because it's too much for me, I am calling it out, I am calling it off. But anyhow, it is a important stage for us to recover our energy to us back. And when we are more rested, this, probably will not happen. So if it happens to you, you don't have to be like, oh my God, I will have to do it all again. Probably when you came back, you felt more rested than when you started. So, but in the next day, it's important to sustain, to do it again and again, because you are going to clean and clean and clean and clean, and you're going slowly coming back to be really present and really aware and really feeling the roses in all stages. But it really can happen. And you were telling that you read a lot of people in Israel, you were very active before. So you are learning, like our reading, it's not a learning that we have, like learning with a book, it's not just as well understanding the technique. It's about opening readings. It's about reading, because when we do that, we are like grounding the techniques. We are being stronger in handling energy, in cleaning the energy, in opening the energy, in opening our senses, because this is something that can really tire us, opening the subtle senses, because we see it with all of it, with images, with what we are feeling in our body, with things that we just know, with voices that can come. And sometimes the energy that we are reading are energies that demand, a lot to be organized, to be understood, to be cleansed, to be even open, because sometimes there are some energies that are more difficult, for us to open as well. And you were like opening different kinds of reading, different kinds of people, having different kinds of experiences. So it can be uh, uh, very tiring. So in the beginning, when I was training, I remember I would just do one reading a day, and sometimes I couldn't even do one because I was so tired that it was impossible. So what I want to say to Irina and to all of you is that it's important as well to discover your own rhythm, your own pace, of reading, because this is me. Sometimes you can do more readings. You can do 2 readings a day when I guess Jen is very fast, the way that she do since the beginning, she was doing more readings. And there is nothing like, there is no, oh, this is the right way, this is the wrong way. you know it's just like discovering. And how you do that? Testing, trying, not to see only how you are feeling during the reading, but in the next day. And there is something here. Handling energy. It's not only about how much we can do deep readings or how much we can go to the point with the person, but as well is how our system can handle it. So it's as well how much I am able to clean of my body after I do the readings. And this must be respected as well. So if I would compare myself in the beginning with other readers, I'm just giving my person, I was doomed, because I am this very sensitive person. I even got depression, when I was younger, because I was like like a sponge. So I had to give myself time. And I always had, for example, it was easy for me to do very good readings, but it wasn't easy for me to handle the energy after, because I was doing one. So you observe yourselves. I don't want to give you a number of readings, or, is you that can study yourself and see, like looking at all these aspects that I am telling you, and study yourself. And when a sign that maybe, for example, for Irina, she got really excited, and it's even like not only about the people that you were reading, but as well, sometimes this is important. I will share a story with you, because this is something that really changed my way of seeing our reading as well. Before going to Amazonia, I was doing maximum 2 readings a day. I was living in São Paulo. And, I was really in a very, like, meditating every day, taking care of my food. I don't know, I was doing everything right. And then I arrived in Amazonia, in Manaus. There, my agenda was full in 2 days of announcing the sessions, and there were a lot of people there to read. So I decided myself, because I felt something different there, that I would try, doing more readings. And not at this time, but when I was there was a moment that I was doing even 5 readings a day. But why? I was in the middle of the Amazonian forest with a lot of nature around, with a lot of quantic energy around. And I was there protected with an extra protection of, let's say, a group of people that was working in the protection of that field. It was a very strong, protected field as well, of people that are from my spiritual family. So this made the whole difference to me, and I could read more and feel okay, because to read there is easier, the image, like to clean everything, it's easier. So it's not only depending on us, but on the environment that we are reading. And this is why I always prefer, if it's possible, sometimes it's not possible, but to read in a place, for example, as Casa da Carol, that is this place that is super protected, because I feel the difference. For now in São Paulo, I am in the apartment of my mother. The kind of energy that I have to handle, to clean the room, to, because she has nothing to do with that. The house is amazing, super nice, but it's like it's an apartment in the middle of the craziness of a gray city that is São Paulo. And there is even a park here. But well, the difference that I started feeling living in more in places that have a higher vibration, when I come back here, I feel more. And how I treat that as a training as well. So if you are, when you go to places that are more really, for example, London, that is more gray, or for example, Israel, that is in a war. Wow, it is a training for us to be stronger readers. And but at the same time, for me, like to live and to do the kind of work that I do, I cannot, once you see, the thing is, once you see what is possible, the quality of life, it's very difficult to not see. And there are people, and there is different missions. There are people that really have to be in that places, that are happy in that places and do amazing work, in big cities. And I am very glad, that this happens. But yes, this is what I wanted to say. And I don't know, I ended up speaking a lot of things here, but I felt it was important. So Irina, how are you feeling after listening all of that? And if you girls want to share something, you are welcome. But first I'm going to listen to Irina.
Thank you for sharing, because it's like really so important to know that you are not the only one. and to understand better the feelings. And yes, for me is this well. Like for example, when I'm reading now maximum one person per day. I didn't read for some time, but when I had that for 5 days, every day I was reading also someone. I was after I had the feeling I really need to stop because I'm I feel amazing when I read people, no matter what I read, because for me it's very easy to connect. For me, it's very difficult to ground myself after, So, but I understand that to ground is very, very important because in my everyday life, otherwise, I'm like completely disconnected. I live like in ayahuasca the whole day, all the time. So I'm like in my unreal reality. And it's amazing, but somehow the the environment or even the body, it asks, to be more present. So I also what I saw that after when I read is very important is like my body is asking for food. So like I don't eat really like red meat, but sometimes it's asking me to, the food is just helping me to ground my body, and also like gives me um somehow, maybe because the energy goes a little bit more low, it brings me more down to the earth. So I feel like okay, I'm from this planet. Yes, but well, yeah, so this is with me for now. I'm like this, and but I understand how to. The thing is, it's interesting because the more you read, the more you have this understanding of how navigate your energy. You are becoming stronger. And on the same time, when you read for someone and you have another session, it's easier to do it like that because you are still kind of on the same, on the same frequency. So you have one session and another. I had like two people and it was great for me. So it's interesting because it's good when you read every day because it uplifts you and it really makes you more motivated, and you need to do responsible and consistent, and somehow it's like a discipline, you know and plus that you are learning how to really navigate in your energy because it's like a magic, you really know how to handle it, where and how and what to do with it. But on the moment you stop and somehow everything is cultivating on top of you, and after you are like and you are like broken. So this is how I feel now, and after you resist everything, it's like I don't want anything anymore. So I think that it's also a part of learning how not to be on the peaks, of the top of this, and after to be on the bottom of, resisting everything, and to find the balance and to find your rhythm. And I think it's also kind of to see also where you are now with your personal, like emotional or physical stage, and with that also how many people to take and when to do it and how to do it. So I think it's just like different waves, just like of learning what can be when it's like that, what can be when you are low, what to find your balance, and to find the balance on the certain like periods also of our lives, because we also feel differently all the time. So yeah, I think it's just like learning moment of learning everything. But yeah, thank you, Dara, for explaining.
No, and you see how to really how to work with energy is really something that put us on the line to know ourselves, because it's like another level of self-observation that we can actually have, and really get to know more about ourselves. For me, this is so precious. It's
Can
so
I
precious.
can I also add something? And that's it. I will be out because I'm talking a lot somehow. So, when you look, and it's interesting because when you watch the movies, the magic movies, and you see, for example, the witches or wizards or people who have this access with who like they have access with the magic. And it's interesting because somehow i reconnect how even in the movies they always say maybe you can be very powerful, let's say the magician, but when you don't know how to navigate, and in those schools they were really training them how to use the power, I don't know, magic of the wind, of the water, you really have to know how to navigate because it can be sometimes too much. So somehow all this is giving me kind of the same perspective, with this energy within, what we can do with that, and how really is to master this sense of navigating all of it, in like aura reading in this case.
Yes. And yeah, I have some comments to make about everything that you brought. But just to continue that, that you were speaking, and it's not that it's like this observation, it's not leading us to different places that are places that we already know inside ourselves. But it's like because we are handling more energy, so we are more able to see as well where normally we fall. And it's this, is a way of training ourselves in our own shadows, in our own, mechanisms that take us from our light. And this is why, like, not only in our reading, the master said, like, it's a mastery of ourselves. And doing the reading is the easiest part of the path. And it's already something super magical. And people say, oh my God, how do you do that? And, I always think, you don't know, what do I do to be able to do that? Because it's something like this. And, but it's amazing because it helps ourselves in the path of the mastery of our own shadows. And this is what I feel, that took me from one place to another. Girls, it's because you met me now, but there are people that look at my pictures. Even as I was seeing yesterday, the pictures of me in 2019. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't even recognize myself, because it's like being able to die and to have, many lives in one, on this work, of letting things go, of understanding who we really are. And I'm not only talking about me, I am talking about the people that I am, together, on the path. So for me, it's a lot of work, but I cannot imagine my life without that, because I came here for that, So yeah, so let's do the work. And well, some comments more, about what Irina said. Ground.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
okay.
Sharon. You can,
It's not, and it's a little bit more about what you said. Um, one of the, let's see, so many thoughts, sorry. I was thinking this morning, or maybe it was last night, I don't remember, that this is almost like engineering. There is no false step. And I really admire that. I feel safe with it. I don't feel that I'm ready to read regularly. I do think that's something that'll happen in the future. But just the struggle to do, but the readings always make me feel excellent. That's not so much the issue. The rose meditation is always, I feel like I'm on the floor struggling with a bear, trying to get it. But I appreciate it. The reason I was thinking that is that I'm in a year-long class that is duplicating what the Berkeley Psychic Institute is teaching. This is where Angelina came 30 years ago or 35, wherever, and brought back the Rose Meditation. And they've actually become quite silly, and they've become like too many weird things. Like they believe that everything you've ever wished for is attached to I mean, it's really hard to even say this. Everything you believe or have asked for in your life is attached to your belly button with a string and goes up. And if you want to get rid of it, you have to bring it down. So I'm go through that class kind of thinking, no, no, no. Oh, okay, that's okay. I like that. No. But I'm still feeling like I should be in it. I should get a grounding of what some other people are thinking and feeling about this. But it just makes me appreciate this more because Angelina so thought it out. She so built a foundation. The Rose Meditation is so much more thorough than the one that they do. And it's not full of silly things. There's no silliness in this. Everything makes perfect sense. You kind of get a sense of why you're doing it. Actually, I do have a question. At the end, I have a question. But I was so appreciative of just the engineering of it. It is so clear. It is so step by step. And yet it's not constrained. It's not overly structured. Well, it is structured. It's structured very well. And when I look at what these other people are doing, even though I feel like I need to be there and get a sense of it, I mean, most of the time I'm sitting there going, no, no, I can't believe that. I don't think that's true. And I have to trust myself. But if I hadn't had this grounding, it would be much harder. Okay, so that's my statement of how appreciative I am of the whole thought through structure and how it protects you and how it protects others and how obviously like the rest of you, I am struggling with whatever entities have been living with me and not ready to go. But one of the things that I do have a question about is why there's so much cleaning. I mean, it feels like you clean the chakra and then you send in another rose, an unrooted rose, and clean it. And then you are having the sticky roses at the end. And it just feels like, is there anything left of you if you're just cleaning? But there must be some reason. And I every once in a while, I just wonder about it. I guess that's it. I guess that's a question.
okay,
Why so much cleaning?
okay.
Given that I overall trust everything about it more and more,
Yeah,
why
no,
so
but
much cleaning?
I can ask that, and I have a
Mhm.
comment to make about the structure. there is something that I value a lot, you know, in our school, that is really something that we do that is protecting the rose meditation and the aura reading as it was channeled, let's say. And
Yes.
it doesn't make us stop on time, because we are a group, we have a group that is gathering at least, you know, the teachers, we gather once a week, the therapists once a week, to study our reading, to talk about the rose meditation. We even have, you know, an enlightened man that is Prembaba, or a man with a lot of consciousness, because there are people that do not believe in enlightenment, and I get it, you know, but, well, a man with a lot of consciousness looking at the tools and helping us to do some adjustments, so it really can serve the spirits. It can really bring, you know, the purity of the essence of people. You know, it's really, I feel that for my own experience, you know, it's really helpful on earth to have something like this. So why we clean so much? Why we clean so much every day? You know, it came to my mind, you know, Sharon, maybe you laugh with that one, you know, but it's the same, you know, with the kid, with the mother asking, Mom, why do I have to take a shower every day? One shower, isn't enough? Once a week, isn't it good? And it is because we are here, you know, in this earth, in a place that's in a way, you know, that we live, that is social, that's information that is entering and coming out every moment that we are, you know, in society. Even if we are in our homes, you know, we are reading something, energies can cross us, and not like and this, like, for the whole years that we are alive. And even we can clean things of past lives that are with us. And even, for example, when we are recovering our energies, we are recovering energies that are in other dimensions, because we exist simultaneously in other dimensions as well. Not only what Angelina, you know, always faz questão, like, she always, you know, is saying, okay, past, present, and future, you know, in the dimension where we do our reading, there is the fourth dimension, it happens at the same time. So with the rose meditation, we can clean it all. And why cleaning, you know? Because it's by the other, that we understand who we are. But in this world of illusion, we can, you know, grab energies that are not ours. So when we are cleaning, every day is a way of remembering who we are, is a way of, you know, connecting more to the spirit, and to make sure, you know, that we are in the best, you know, doing the best that we do to really not get lost in this world, you know, in Yeah. And the more that we do, the stronger we get spiritually, energetically. Our aura becomes stronger. The commands that we do, they become stronger with time as well. So, for me, of course, and you can already start observing yourselves. When something happens to me and I start cleaning, I see, wow, the results, the effectiveness of the rose much more than years before. So when we are doing it, we are becoming better cleaners, and we can be less, this life is playing less with us, we can be more like, okay, this happened, so I'm going to clean. And when we clean, and this is the good thing about the rose meditation, we are not just cleaning because we want to get rid of a situation. This is it's the same. But this type of cleansing, remember, the rose is cleaning the energies that do not belong to you. And when we explode the rose, these energies are coming back to where they belong, in high vibration. So what we are doing, we are kind of uplifting the situation. We are kind of trying to bring consciousness to the situation. So, for example, I can look at the anger that I was feeling, that I am cleaning, with more reasonable eyes, and I said, okay, I can be angry, but yeah, this is not going to be bigger than me. It is happening. It is helping us to process the situation and not being like led by it. So this is why we clean, and if you believe, in this karmic thing, we are cleaning our karma when we are doing rose meditation as well. Imagine how many things that we have, of lives and lives and lives, that can, for example, lead to a behavior that we are always doing in this life. So it's very deep what we are doing. We are cleaning really tons and tons of things to become more us, basically. And it's the same, of the kid. Mom, I have to take a shower every day? Really?
It's better not to take a shower every day. Better for the skin, better for the scalp. Shower every day is too much for the body.
Okay.
So
but
once upon a time, they used to say sometimes this, sometimes that. Now it's already proven by science that shower every day, it's not good for the little microbiotica we have on the skin or on the scalp.
Okay, but like
They don't force your kids.
with a certain frequency,
Yes, yes.
Soap, for example, is not good.
Once every 2 days, and if they sweat, they should wash because they're stinky.
Yes, and depending on where we live, when you live, where? Because, for example, if you live, my dear, in hot countries, it's impossible.
Oh no, I wash in Israel 3 times a week, but it's okay. That's me. To each their own. In August.
But the thing is, like, energetically, it's good, to clean. You can try.
For sure. No, I'm just saying about the shower. Energetically, I don't argue with you at all.
Okay.
And also, I think energetically, what I feel, it's like the more we clean, the more we notice every little thing that's dirty, right? Like if before I could be in a really rough room and I just be like, oh, that was rough, and it's no big deal. But now when we're cleaning every day and you come out of a rough situation, you like really take it in. You're able to really absorb it. And then like you need to clean even more because it's like my tool is so sharp, we can't let it get dirty.
Yeah.
Like a nice, beautiful, clean knife.
Yes, how the situation is, you
Yeah,
know.
I was also thinking, what I also just told myself is that you can clean something, but that doesn't mean that something else doesn't move into its place that also will need to be cleaned. So that maybe the constant cleaning is about, you clean the chakra and then you send another unrooted rose in, that maybe you are just kind of continue to bring things up, that things are just surfacing and surfacing.
Yes, it's
So,
like when you clean,
and
your own energy can occupy that space and you can feel more. And you can even try, when you are cleaning the chakras. I always, in the beginning, I like it to do, and in fact, until these days, while I'm cleaning, I am feeling like my own energy having more space to be there. So you can feel, and how do you feel your own energy
yeah, that
occupying
might be true. That might be true.
something?
I've always known, I've always been able to see what I was feeling and think it through and everything. So that's actually not so new, but deeper things that I wasn't in touch with are surfacing.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah,
that can happen.
yeah.
Well,
And Arena wanted to ask something. So,
I wanted to ask something practical, if it's possible.
yes.
If, for example, we are now on the level 1, and I want to work with a friend of mine, I was reading for her, and I would like to practice and to work with her, let's say once in a week, to see, what else we can see for her. So I wanted to ask you, of course, you will not go all the time through the past lives, and you go probably mostly just for the each chakra, right? But
No,
is
wait.
it possible?
I am not sure if I understood your question. After
Look,
finished
I,
reading,
I read one. Let's say I read one person. It's a friend of mine. I did a reading for her, but we want to continue our sessions, and I want to work with her like once in a week to see where she is, and what else is coming up for her to work. What her spirit, because it always will be something different that will come up. So I was thinking that, to go like the spirit rose and after some chakras, but I want also to ask something else. Is it possible to guide someone to guide the rose meditation or not? Let's say I have a reading with her, and we do as a session, like a little of like, it's, let's say, at least like short, or I don't know, rose meditation, and after I open 2 chakras and I read for her, or not, or it's impossible to guide the people in the rose meditation, it's only for us.
yeah. So, let's start for the rose meditation that it's easier. So no, you cannot guide her because you have to be trained for that. And if you want to be trained, you can, talk to me, to Angelina, because Jen, for example, she wants to train herself to not just guide, but to teach the rose meditation. And then we can help you. You can make a path with us, and you can be a rose meditation facilitator in a way of guiding meditations. This is a path. And if you want to teach as well, it is possible. And the first step to teach is to start guiding. So one is contained in the other path, and it's possible. And the other thing that you were asking, okay, Yvonne, bye. She already went. So another thing that I was telling, it was about, oh yeah, about how giving somehow a follow-up to the reading.
Yes, like with my level, how continuously to work with someone, because I really would like to experience this, how to create something for a person that, you know, she can develop and she can start progressing. But like on right now, it's, you know, with my level of knowledge.
Yeah, because now you are still training yourself. So, and you have only the level 1. So what I feel that you can do is to, okay, you do an aura reading, you let her go to her life. If you want to give a support to her by talking to her, not exactly in an aura reading, you know, but talking, you can. And after a while, you can do a new reading. You can ask, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks after the first. So you can give her time as well to process the reading, to let life act on her. Because what happens as well in our readings, oh, and I want now bring another information to you, you know. It's not only about the new consciousness that you open to the person, but there is a shift that is kind of mysterious, you know, because when we are working with energy, with the subtle bodies, with the spirit level, synchronicities in life can happen, you know. For example, you know, I was doing a reading for this man that had a very tough relationship to his kids. The mother, he really loved the kids, but he couldn't get along with the mother. And the mother was kind of telling bad things about the father to the kids. And he didn't know exactly what to do. So when I finished the reading and this subject came in the middle of the reading, you know, and we worked through that. He could cry, he could, see things, how they were happening. And at the same day, he sent me a message that his little girl, he had a boy and a girl, called to him after 1 year. So, you know, and he could speak to her, and then, there was a door there that opened to connect them again. I was predicting that no, you know, like it could be coincidence, like after she could call him I don't know, anytime, 1 year without speaking to him, and she called him some couple of hours after we have done the reading. And I have many examples to talk, not as sharp, you know, as this one, like in the same day, but a person that couldn't find a work, and then we have done an aura reading, and after, I don't know, 2 weeks, she could find a job. Or, you know, there are situations that can happen, you know, have a conversation with someone. So it is important for us to let the reading act in all ways, you know, for the person really to understand with the mind as well, and with their own subtle bodies what happened, to integrate, because we we kind of make a surgery, you know, through images, bringing light to some issues. So giving confirmations to the person so, you know, the energy can be stronger, or giving new points of view so the energy is reorganized inside. There is something that moves. Energies that go away, you know, and so their own aura can occupy more space. There's more space for them to occupy their auras. So what can happen as well is like, you know, a person that couldn't really speak for their truth, a woman that cannot speak her truth to the husband. And after the reading, this comes, the person starts seeing, and after a while, the person could say, you know, I don't know where, I don't know how, but he have done something that I didn't like, and I could say to him, I didn't like what you do, and the person can even not recognize themselves doing what they are doing. But how, you know, who is, wow, this is me. And it can be as well because of the energy work of the reading. And for all that reasons, you know, this integration, this time that we give to life, you know, to the divine, to act, to the spirit of the person, you know, to bring the synchronicity and the learnings, that it's good, you know, if it's a general already, and even depending on the person, you know, and the subject, to give space to the person, you know, before doing a new one. If you are doing like a thematic or a reading, this can be different because you are acting into different aspects of the person's life. So, for example, a person can come first because have a problem in work, but then the person loved the reading about the work, and oh, but you know what? I have an issue here in my relationship with my husband. So you can do, you know, another reading. And how I like to work in this sense is to invite the person to observe themselves, and they will know when they are ready to come, because, you know, there is space, internal space to receive the energy, to process the information, because if the person is still processing things from the previous reading, coming for a new one can just, you know, make more stuff come up, and the person is not being even able to handle what came in the previous session about work, even though the person is wanting to look to the relationship. So it's important as well to talk to the person, to see how the person is, and in the level that you are, again, reinforcing what I was giving as a way, giving an advice, you know. Here I am giving an orientation, in fact, is okay, you can support the person talking, but at least giving a time of 3 weeks so the reading can really act in that person. Okay, so is it clear? I gave here a big
Yes.
panorama, but to understand, you know, how the work with aura is, that is different, you know, from a therapy that people can go every week.
Mhm. But it is a way, Irina, it is a way of doing what you wanted to do, which is to help your friend grow. I mean, each reading and then each discussion afterward is a whole growth thing for her. She
Yeah.
doesn't have. So that's really nice. I think that's a wonderful thing you're doing
No, yeah, it
with,
is.
with all of the, again, the structure that Tara is talking about within that structure. It's really quite lovely.
Yeah, she really loved it, and her reading was very interesting also for me to see how, because I know her as a friend and my colleague that we were working together, and I know her struggles, let's say, but also on the way that the spirit also was showing her about herself. It was very also interesting, you know, for her probably to realize for some things that there she's complaining that she's doing them by herself. There is like so many potentiality and so many things around her happening, and what she does, it's everything for herself, by herself she's doing, you know. So she told me that she started after just noting, because she was recording what I was saying, and I always tell to everyone, like after 1 2 days, like when you feel like you can listen again, because there is something will come up, write down what you feel, because you always, you know, all of us, we know that you connect somehow sometimes with the words to the certain situation in our life. So after, and she told me that actually it helped her a lot, and she started writing and started like this time when I was talking with her, she was not complaining, like I was like, oh my God, there is something really happening.
You see? No, it's amazing. You know, for example, there are people that come to me to make readings, but they have their own therapists, for example. But they love coming time to time to have the vision of the spirit and bring the material to work in their weekly therapy. And it's a way, you know, it's a way. So you can be there to your friends to, you know, to listen to her, to talk to her, so she can share with you. And after a while, you can do a new reading to see, because, you know, this, Irina, is so cool. This is the part that I love the most, you know, when people come back and we can see
The progress or something, what is changing there.
yes, or
It's even for me, I want to see what is happening, you know.
because it's a mirror, right?
Yeah, because you know, it's like, okay, let's see what's changed. But you know that I want just to make one, because what I noticed in my readings, what I see a lot of fields. People are on the fields, and there is always field that around is like with the forest, and there are always mountains in my presence, in my readings, and the gardens.
Mhm, mhm.
And I see it just in a different interpretation, but many times, you know, but always somehow the field is kind of the space of the person, like a life path. You know, this is how I understand after from the movement. But it was interesting because it was continuously. I see the, like from the nature, I see just that. You are standing on the field. You are crossing the field. You know, like the same continuous path. So I wanted also to ask about that, like when you like the same setup in a way.
Yes. Yes. This is a very interesting question. This is a very nice one. Because what happens when we start doing our readings? We are creating a way, kind of a bridge, to communicate to the spirit. So sometimes, depending on the person, depending like on the reader, I mean, the person reader, there are some symbols that start appearing that you already know more or less what is going to be the content of that image. And it's a resource created by the spirit to help you to read. So when you read this field of grass with the mountains, you start the image with this ground, but then, as you were saying, the image develops in different ways, right? It's not always the same. Sometimes it can be in the beginning, you know, it even can be the same image with certain meaning. And this is a way that the spirit finds to work with you, to help you to open your vision and see more and more. With experience, with time, maybe, you know, you will not be seeing always this image again and again, because you can grasp more images related to the reality of the person that you are reading more, you know. But sometimes, depending on the issue, if it's something, even if we have experience, you know, if it's something that is very new for us, the spirit, for example, can find a symbolic image that we are going to understand in a way and communicate to the person. I'm not telling that I feel that this is your case. I feel that the case here is more like, okay, this is a language that I started building here. And this is a initial step for me to be able to open that energy. And then it can develop and you can see further and you can go to different directions and get different things. But this is a starting point.
Okay. Because it's like everything, you know, for example, for me, even whenever I read to different people, yes, the sixth chakra, it always starts with the dark blue sky and a lot of like stars, and after the image for each of people, the message is very different, you know, according to a person. Or it's like a sea, so it somehow is very dark day, the stars, and after it's starting. So for each chakra, for me, the beginning is kind of the same, you know. And also what I realized, for the people that I'm reading, that they are more working with themselves and they are more connecting with themselves, more symbolic images are coming. It's more beautiful and it's just more encouraging somehow. You know, it's like the spirit shows me the different images and I'm just telling who they are, etc. Like for my friend or another friend, when they are kind of in a lower vibration, I see more images that they are from the real life. You know, you walk on the street, you do this, so it's just, you know, like very simple, like realistic in a way situations. This is also what I noticed. But with these images through each chakra, how each chakra opens up, I was like, okay, again, it's so the red chakra, we're on the field. Okay, so let's see. So I wanted to ask, like, how, you know, why I always see it like that, but I understood. So this is like the beginning of the story, let's say, after for now.
It's
Okay.
I have seen here, like, this is a resource for you to be able to let's say tune into the chakra, tune into the information, ground yourself into that, and then to open and to see, you know, different things there. Don't worry, just continue reading and see how it goes. But it's not on your way, because it's not that you are not being able to read or that you are reading always the same thing. You are bringing different kinds of information. So don't worry about it. And there is another thing. Oh, yeah. About this thing, of it's easier to read people that are working with themselves, and it's more difficult to read people that are not. Well, it is because, first,
It's easier to talk to people who are working on
yeah,
themselves than it is
just
easier to talk to people who are not.
yeah, because normally there is more openness, there is more understanding. Sometimes in the beginning I would read people and I would think, wow, these readings suck. This reading that I have done, so superficial. But for the person was perfect. This was my judgment, thinking that that wasn't good enough. But it is what the spirit of that person showed it to me, because is where these people are, in this moment. And there is there are people that really are more pragmatic, that do not have this existential complexity or questioning, or there are people that are more like pop, 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 pop. That's it. And that's it. Of course.
You really believe that? Like, can it be? I mean, we're all spiritual beings. Can it be that they just learned how to? I'm sorry if this is a philosophical question and not in judgment, heavens forbid, of anyone that is more pragmatic. I'm just wondering, when you're saying it, because I have this question a lot. Do we really believe that, or did they just find a way to turn down the volume on the part of them that's asking the questions?
Yes. No, yes, it can be connected to that. But for my experience, that are people that are really, and it's not about it's really about being more practical with life, people that are not really in a moment of making big questions, or and when we read, we are just reflecting it. Of course, we all are spirits. We have this incredible capacity of creating a very amazing life. But there are belief systems, there is a culture, that are people that really are more happier doing, for example, a work that they do the same thing every day. There are people that like doing that, and in the reading, this will show up. Of course, it can be because of their own belief systems, the family that the person was raised, the culture, or even though what is there for the person, more sometimes the person, it it's like this.
Can it be that it's, for example, the spirit, because the spirit is bigger, yes, but we're still living in our body, and it's like the spirit wants to show with the language that it will be accessible for the person, that they will understand with the language that they understand in a way, or picture, or the way they are. No, it's because we are different, we are higher on the other realms, let's say, but at the same time we all understand certain information in a very certain way, the way we're living in our bodies with whatever we are now. So I think that's why for each person for them to get what they need to elevate themselves, they just will get in their own style in a way.
Yes, exactly. So,
Well, it's one of the things that I'm learning is how to have those kind of conversations in real life, not to push somebody past where their volume is. Trying to be a little bit more sensitive to, I mean, not even just in readings, but in just normal conversation, that I'm always kind of, I realize I'm always pushing people or asking them to kind of move a bit, move a bit, move a bit. And it must be really annoying. Some people tell me that. I mean, other people are racing to go. I mean, they really want to have that kind of conversation. But the capacity to, it's what I like about your idea of people have turned down the volume, which is trying to respect that and not make everything so fraught with, oh, you've got to grow, you know, they don't really, they don't. And how do you kind of figure that out and respect it versus just assume everybody's on this path? So I'm actually been doing, I'm just realizing I'm doing more work around that.
yeah.
It's how to let people be where they are. And if they, pay more attention to not pushing them all the time.
Yeah.
Sharon, can I tell you something? Because I think because you brought up something very interesting. I think it's not because for us, what I believe, it's our life and everything is for us. So when you think it's like, and me the same, because what I understood also with aura reading now, that I'm always a very big advisor, and sometimes you see bigger potentiality on people or something, or their light or whatever, and you really want like to open their eyes very big, and it comes out from you, because you have the best intention. But what I really realized, that those best intentions, people are not ready for those ones, and you create an opposite, something very different. So now what I'm learning is just to respect their space, even if it's like until here and it wants something to come out. I'm saying to myself, you know what, Irina, just mind your own business, listen, just be present, where you can be. But even with your good intentions, like sometimes no one needs to hear the good intentions even,
Yeah,
and this
because
is
what happens. Like,
It's not really,
girls, just let me say something here.
well, we want to talk a bit. We want to talk
I know, but you are.
It's not just good intentions. It's that that's just how I talk. It's how I think. I think at that level. So I can be just having a regular conversation and suddenly I start thinking at this next level and I can see the look come over the person's face. I'm not trying to do anything to them. I'm just not staying in the situation. I've already kind of moved on, and the look that comes over people's faces is like, oh, come on, Sharon, just stay here. Anyway, sorry, Dara, go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, there is there is something that is a gift, like, of our reading, that is understanding first, yes, that we are reading the images for the person that we are reading, and it comes for a reason, for a specific reason that only the person will know. Sometimes we are reading something and we are like understanding here, and the person is already miles ahead because it's for the person. And there is something here about judgment, because it's easier for us to see what the other one has to do than to the person that is living their life to actually do. So, and it starts giving us real compassion, not because we are better, not because we are very good, goody goody, but because like the reading makes us understand that the human being is much more complex than that, you know? And yes, there is a story, there is a social context, there is like even the nature of the person, and we reflect that to the person. So giving an advice here, even though we are seeing a lot of things, it's just like to think about ourselves, you know, about our, because when we feel like giving really an advice to a person, because in the beginning, in the oral readings, we were giving advices, and this was like a little, my God, again, the word in English escaped from me, but we were creating a lot of karma, because the biggest karma that we can create to ourselves, this Angelina asked it to a teacher long ago, and really, I really feel that, is to change the spiritual path of a person. And I guess she talked about this story in a class. So, and the spirit is huge, you know, when we give, for example, practical example that is happening with Irina. She just read to her friend what was going on. And the friend had the chance of feeling the feelings, of seeing for herself, of integrating all the information. She is already realizing things that she can do by herself. So when we do that, we empower the spirits to give the solution, because maybe we are giving something like this, and it's only a possibility, because the spirit, as Eddie was talking about, is like, whoa, you know, it's the spirit. So when we do another reading, we are connecting the person to the spirits, to their own source. It's not just giving the information to them, which is amazing, but it's this reconnection that happens in a subtle level that can lead the person to another level of starting to recognize more solutions that can come like this, as Irina was talking about, that can come from a calling, from a child that wasn't speaking to you for I don't know how many years. It can come for a job opportunity that moves. It can come from an action that out of nowhere I am having that I could never have in this way, and I don't know even where it is coming from. And this is like, let's say, the miracle of the reading. So it's something, yeah, it's big what can happen. So this is why I was I wanted to speak, you know, because it's more than what we are seeing that could be done there with our perspective, you know.
Yeah, my sense is that in the reading, when we're actually doing a reading, because of this amazing structure and safety, the spirit takes care of talking at the level that the other person can hear. I mean, I think we're very lucky for that to happen. So what I'm realizing is that I don't calibrate to whoever I'm speaking with, that I have a lot of friends that are heavy into growth, and we have a conversation and we just fly. I mean, it's just, But when I'm with people that are not, I can't stay. I'm always adding things in that are just how I think. I'm not trying to give advice or anything. And then I watch that look and I realize that I've walked out of that vibration, that conversation vibration. And I want to make it my new practice to
Yeah.
try to tell the difference between and not really harass or aggravate other people who really don't have any clue about where I just went. I mean, I can see it immediately. And why I don't think that, why I don't know that ahead is something I find interesting, you know. I'm lucky that I have so many people in my life that I can say anything to and they understand me. Or they're interested if they don't. And I have a number of people close in my life that just are not there. And I'm sorting that the difficulties I'm having. It's not at all about giving advice. I mean, the advice is an aggravation. There's no question about that. But it's not even about giving advice. It's just about talking at a growth level with people that simply are trying to live their own lives. They're focused on living their own lives and not to not to aggravate them. I mean, it is, I can see it's a little aggravating to suddenly have someone that you think you're in conversation with kind of whip into a statement that doesn't make any sense to you, but would to a friend of mine who was in a high growth. So I'm just feeling like that's almost my new practice, is to try to figure out which conversation I'm in and try to respect and honor that. I mean, that's going to be a big deal for me, making that switch. So thank you all today. I feel like I understand something at a much, I understand something at a higher level that means I should be working at a lower level.
We're very blessed,
That makes any
actually.
sense. Anyway, thanks. That was good. I
And,
really,
something, Sharon, to help you with that mission that you were putting yourself in, inside our reading is always when we feel that we are a little bit lost in the image, you know, or that we are speaking a lot, come back to the image. Come back to the image. What is really there in the image? How you are really feeling looking at the image. Because if you are seeing that in the image, if you are connected to the image, you must say, in fact. So even if you are saying if you are seeing the most terrible thing in that aura, you must say exactly what you are seeing, not making it softer. Why? Because the healing comes with the accuracy of how you are describing the image. Because if you do not, it doesn't get there to the person really, you know, have the insight or really have the consciousness that the person is ready
Yeah.
to have about something. Of
I
course.
don't think I'm having trouble with that in readings. I really trust that the spirit takes care of that. I'm having trouble with it in daily life, and that's where I want to practice. I want to take what I'm learning here and practice it in daily life. It will be useful for me. I'm really talking about, I just trust in terms of the structure
Yeah.
that I'll only see what I need to see and the message will indeed come. It's one of the things that I really trust about this process. But I need to trust myself more outside of the reading, and I want to work on that. I want to take what I've learned about the structure of the reading and apply it. So that's kind of where I am. But
Yeah.
I agree. I think the readings take care of themselves. I wish I were in a reading all the time. And I could get that feedback when I'm in regular conversations. But I just have to practice. I'm going to be practicing. I'll let you all know how it goes.
Yeah, and making our readings is like easier to stay with what the person is telling me without that much judgment. I feel that it helps me to be really there, feeling the person, understanding how the person is feeling, seeing the moment that the person is, and without wanting to be very, like I know better than you, because I am like this as well, and I saw with time that, and especially with my process, because there are some things in our own process that everyone around is looking and saying to us again and again and again. And we are there, So yeah. So Sylvia, you were raising your hand. You want to say something?
Yes, it was about a comment about the repeating images that sometimes they come in a reading. It happens to me. Um, I normally do not repeat the images, but I repeat it once, and then the Alejandra, she brought to my mind, Sylvia, you already mentioned that image, different approach. There were some stuff that changed, but basically it was the same image. So she said, go there and look inside the image to see if there is something, a message for you, because when there is a repeated image, it might be like a mirror rose.
Yeah.
And then I went there and bang, it was there. The image was about sky, blue sky, and very calm. And there is somebody watching that calmness. And I realized later on that at night is the only time that I have for myself. And I've been very tired lately. So I switched doing my rose meditation at night before going to bed.
Mhm.
And right now I improved so much because I don't have to worry about doing the rose meditation, and I'm sleeping with depth. Look who's here. I'm sleeping better, and I'm start remember the dreams also.
Wow.
So it's true, when something repeats, we
Yeah.
should go there and see, because there is something for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was it.
yes, it is true. It is true. It can be a mirror rose as well, especially if the image comes in a certain way, or you see, for example, different images, but the message is very similar. It can be a mirror rose. But as well, in the case that Irina was bringing, it can be, mirror roses as well, in the readings, especially because in the beginning we have many mirrors, but it can be as well a way of the spirits building somehow a language, something to ground and to start the reading. And yes. So girls, are you being able to do the mirror roses? Are you doing that? Not that much. Yeah. Yeah, this is something that I really recommend you to do. If you can choose, for example, do 2 readings a week, a day, or 1 reading with a space to do a mirror rose, I recommend you to do the mirror, to save more space to do the mirror.
But mirror rose you do only when you read for someone, correct?
Yes. And this is what I'm saying, if you have to choose, I can make 2 readings in a day, or a reading and then reading the mirror of this reading. Choose the first.
The mirror. Okay.
Because the mirror roses are the ones that are helping us to be better readers, really. Because, for example, if it's something there, as Sylvia was talking about, that is coming to, you know, through a mirror rose, but you're not seeing. The chances, for example, of projecting something because we are not aware, because the spirit is trying to bring to us and we are not seeing, it becomes bigger. So in the beginning, it's very nice, and always, in fact, always. Mirrors are very, very important.
Dara, can I ask you something? Can it be also, because this has happened to me, that when you start doing the rose meditation and there is a rose that the first two roses, the one that cleans the aura and the second one which is bringing the scattered energy, so somehow it was I had few times that the color was constantly, you know, a little bit darker, or I could understand that rose because I was exploding and again she was coming, exploding and again she was coming. So after what I thought, maybe she's coming because there is something there for me to read, you know. So somehow I took like this rose in the spirit rose, because it's kind of, she also appeared there and there is the story was there. So I said, okay, it was, she was coming before even I started the reading for myself, you know. Like I had few times that somehow I know because they are coming, like, you know, me there, and I understood, okay, maybe I have to open it, you know, if she's like doesn't disappear.
I didn't get it. You opened or not?
Yes, I opened her after because I was exploding. And after I understood, okay, she is, you know, all the time she there is something that it comes to wants to see, you know. So after in the reading, I kind of brought this as a spirit rose, you know, like I open it. And it was the same. So it was, the story was there. So it was interesting for me how the information started coming before even I start reading for myself, you know?
It can happen. It can happen. Sometimes even when we are in a reading for another person, you know, we are in the prayer and we already see images wanting to come, or emotions or a sensation. When it's really there, it really can happen. And it's, you see, I am happy to hear you, Irina, because you heard your intuition and you read and you saw the information for you that was there. So
First, it was scary because I was thinking maybe someone is intruding me, but it was for a few days that it was appearing and did not disappear when I was exploding. So I said, okay, I have to go and to figure it out what it is, you know, because it's really intensively like appearing to be shown to you know.
yeah.
So yes.
And after you read, it stopped.
Immediately, and it was making so much sense also why somehow what I was going through and why like it was appearing, all that, it was just everything was made a very big sense, you know, to yeah.
It's like this. It can be like this. Especially, this is a sign, Irina, that you are getting intimate with the roses. Because it can only happen with practice.
They're my best friends. I cannot live without roses. I'm just sleeping in the roses. They are everywhere with me. now. I'm afraid I put the roses, like it's unbelievable. It's like my best friends now. You know, whatever it is, I call the rose. I'm in the dentist how to say chair, and I'm having a rose above me sucking everything from me, so I feel less, you know. I'm taking them everywhere.
Yes, and this is really a sign that you are communicating to them. This is a proof that the rose meditation is alive. I always, when I teach rose meditation, this is the first thing that I say to people. Like, guys, rose meditation is alive. I do this for 10 years and I am still discovering things about this meditation because the roses, they start somehow speaking to us in that sense. You know, they start they start showing themselves in a different way. Sometimes we are more connected to a part of the meditation. Sometimes we are more connected to another part of the meditation. Sometimes we are doing some, for example, more a technique. Sometimes we are using another technique. And it's really, really alive. So just because it appeared to you, it means that a rose is going to, it doesn't know, you know, it is alive. It is what you need and what you're ready at every moment. And the thing that's our job there is to be very aware, always with a very curious eye to feel, to see, to know the roses. So one last thing that I took a note here that is from you know, behind, but I want to close the day talking about it. That is the grounding difficulty that sometimes we have after doing, you know, a reading. So wanting to eat things that normally you don't, for example, you said that you didn't eat meat, but you wanted something with consistency, you know, to come back. You can listen to
Yes, I eat meat sometimes, you know, because like whenever I want it, but it's like that really I need food.
Yes, and it's normal because food it's a very practical way to ground. And if your body is wanting something, you can give it to the body. So I'm going to give you an example of the backstages of our reading courses. So before the participants, I wasn't a teacher in that time. I was in fact learning. The students were only drinking coconut water or juices if they wanted. You know, it was a kind of fasting just with liquids. But the teachers that were giving the course, sometimes they wanted to eat chocolate. Of course, they wouldn't do that in front of the students because it would be a temptation for people, but they would eat it because they were handling the energy of the group, you know, and sometimes they needed something a little bit more consistent to be able to do the energy work. And it can apply, you know, for us as therapists. So before reading, I don't recommend, you know, eating a lot because we need, you know, the energy to go up. So it's good to have it there. But after, it's very good if you need it to ground. Peggy, for example, she learned by listening to her body that for her it's very good to eat mandioca. I don't know how is mandioca in English, but it's like a root, you know, a root to ground herself at night and have better dreams. I don't like to eat this kind of thing because I feel it's too heavy for me. By my own research, I don't like to eat anything before sleeping. But it's this thing about listening to what the body needs to do certain kinds of things. So if you feel like eating chocolate after reading, you can. It's this wish to ground. And then again, with time and practice, the more you ground yourself in the reading, cassava is yuca, yes. The less we need this kind of resources. But sometimes what to do, let's do what the body needs. And it's not bad, it's just...
Dara, but everyone who is reading, for example, all of you girls that you are teachers, you are vegetarian. You don't eat meat.
I eat.
You eat meat.
But I am Angelina eat fish as well.
Mm-hmm.
I eat fish and seafood. But when I am giving a lot of sessions, when I have a lot of work, I can't. Because simply my body cannot handle it. Or if I eat, I don't feel as good in the end of the day as when but I cannot say that I'm vegetarian, because when I am traveling, sometimes during the weekend, I love eating fish or seafood.
But you eat fish, but you don't eat meat. No meat.
Red meat, no. I don't feel like. But I took a while to stop, because what I believe, and we all, in fact, I can say for the whole school, that this is a process that you cannot really force it. You can propose yourself to do some, how can I say, to have discipline with what you eat. But if you really feel like eating meat, it's like, okay, and with time,
it just will disappear itself. I really believe in that.
But
Yes.
of course, with our experience, it's easier to read when you don't eat meat.
Yeah.
And I started reading in 2015, and I stopped it with the meat completely in 2018.
Okay.
For example. But I still eat fish. And but it's like this. If I work more, if I have a week full of things, it's impossible I don't even feel like. This is I don't even feel like. And you will see what works and what do not work to your body. And I have done, for example, to get there, because I wanted. And this is something that I wanted. Nobody was telling me, you have to read auras, you have
No, during these 2 weeks that we were doing our training, it was magical. And I even didn't want, because you have I'm not craving, but sometimes it's like my body wants, red meat. I don't eat a lot. It's like one little piece, but it's just kind of a taste of it, it's interesting that, but I don't eat a lot of meat, but I eat, I cannot say that I'm vegetarian. Yes. But this is something that it grounds me. It's like, I feel more like physical, I become more like in the body, primitive in a way, because, maybe
and
this is the
sometimes
form.
in this moment of your life, you need this kind of energy by now. So when you eat, you observe yourself while you're eating. You observe yourself how you are later. And if it's really there on your path,
It will just go away.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, and you will feel the necessity of doing more austerities, of doing more detox. It's something that will be, as for example, there are certain things we do not choose.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yes. In October, definitely I'm coming to you to have the detox. I'm coming to Brazil in October after the summer. In
Wow,
October, I will come.
amazing. So
Yes, because in January I'm enjoying the snow and the mountain, but in October I would love to come.
yeah, amazing. Yeah, it's very nice, because this detox, they help us to, it's that thing, when you see something. I was talking about it in the beginning of the class. When we see something, we create a kind of standard. We see a possibility of how things can be. And this already changes everything, because when you come back to the thing that you were before, it's something like, oh, okay, I'm here now, but what can I do to get there, or
Yeah. No, with the detox is very interesting because it's coming and I know that I'm gonna do it because it's like more and more in my reality, it's coming more. But my body is like a lot of fears are coming, and I understand that it's just the brain doesn't want, all those bad toxins doesn't want to leave my body. And I understand that. But it just I also trust and I believe that it's just I will do it when the time is right and with the right people and the right moment, that it's for the
Yeah.
first time it will be good. But it's interesting how in all levels, different cleansing is happening.
Yeah.
It started
I think you
start-
can, no, I think you
Yes.
can see in my face that I'm going through major detoxing. I really hate it, but it's happening it's just been happening for about 3 months. So, and it's hard to look in the mirror and say, you don't look at all like you used to, but it just feels like really heavy stuff is coming out.
Yeah.
And it's scary. It's scary.
Yeah.
and this
Anyway, I have to go. Thank you so much, Dara. And thank
I
you,
was going to
Irina.
say
Thank you,
the same.
Sylvia.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
girl. The time of
Yeah,
the
yeah, no, I figured out the whole meditation finally. It only took almost a year. It took about a half a year to figure it out. I got it. Take care. See you all next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye bye. Thank you, Dara.
Yeah, thank